Barcelona 1-2 Real Madrid, player ratings as Blancos edge El Clasico. Real Madrid came away from Camp Nou with a 2-1 win over Barcelona in Sunday afternoon's El Clasico, moving Los Blancos back to the top of the table. Ronald Koeman's side started the game well, showing great intensity to overwhelm their visitors' usual conductors in midfield, and should have found themselves one up after 25 minutes when an unmarked Sergiño Dest criminally blazed over the bar from close range. The USMNT international was made to rue his mistake shortly after, as Carlo Ancelotti's side broke the deadlock with a deadly counter-attack in the 32nd minute. David Alaba started the move by picking Memphis Depay's pocket before collecting Rodrigo's pass and emphatically finishing past Marc-Andre ter Stegen. The two sides proved well matched after the break, with both seeing periods of control and squandered opportunities. In the end, it was another counter-attack that sealed the result in the 94th minute. Following a wave of Barcelona pressure, Real Madrid broke forward with Marco Asensio seeing a shot saved brilliantly by ter Stegen. The subsequent rebound was slotted into an empty net by Lucas Vázquez to make it 2-0. The drama wasn't over, however. 3 minutes later, the hosts notched a goal of their own. Dest's cross from the right was met clinically by Sergio Aguero, who tapped in for his first goal in Barcelona colours. It proved too little too late for Koeman's men, however, as the referee blew for full time immediately after. The result signals Los Blancos' fifth successive victory over their famous rivals. Subsequently, Real Madrid moved back to La Liga's summit on goal difference, while Barcelona remain in 8th place having played 9 fixtures. Now, let's get to the player ratings from El Clasico. Marc-Andre ter Stegen, GK, 6/10, forced into a couple of stops, but had little chance of stopping Alaba's thunderbolt and no chance of keeping out the second. Oscar Mingueza, RB, 4/10, started the afternoon strongly, although gradually descended into a state of despair at the hands of Vinicius Jr. Caught out for the opener and hooked off at the break. Gerard Pique, CB, 6/10, a compost showing from the leading voice of La Blaugrana's defense, remaining strong for the most part. Eric Garcia, CB, 6/10, demonstrated good pace and alertness on the cover, particularly against Vinicius, to stifle several moves, but showed his inexperience when dragged towards the ball as Real countered for the opening strike. Jordi Alba, LB, 6/10, couldn't have guessed he was a fitness doubt beforehand. Gave his all and more to surge up and down the left, although on this occasion, couldn't replicate his usual impact. Defended resiliently for the majority, but couldn't produce in the final third. Sergio Busquets, DM, 7/10, held a high line and pressed effectively, positioning himself well to break up play and register 7 ball recoveries. Frenkie de Jong, CM, 6/10, brilliant energy and willingness to harass his opposite numbers, but simply looked lost once again. No real mission or direction in his individual game, too often drifting into anonymity. Gavi, CM, 7/10, great intensity in everything he did, often finding space between Real Madrid lines, attempting piercing runs in behind and playing deliciously progressive football in the middle. Sergiño Dest, RW, 3/10, shocking miss when the game was goalless, one that will haunt him, had little joy offensively, and then became Vinicius's latest victim as he was pushed back to the right of defense. Ansu Fati, Saint, 6/10, proved more threatening after the break, but was well marshaled and never really got a hold on the game. Memphis Depay, LW, 6/10, much more influential when moved back into a central position for the second half. Began to show the creativity and inventiveness that makes him so dangerous, registering 5 key passes, although couldn't provide anything decisive. Felipe Coutinho, M, 7/10, had an instant impact following his introduction at half-time. Floated into pockets of space and injected a spark into his side's attacking play with neat and clever play. Sergio Aguero, Saint, 7/10, looked lively after coming on and opened his account for his new side. Sergi Roberto, CM, 6/10, Luc de Jong, Saint, and Thibaut Courtois, GK, 6/10, not threatened much at all and was unlucky not to have kept a clean sheet. Lucas Vázquez, RB, 6/10, struggled to contain the danger on Barcelona's left-hand side and often relied on the support of his defensive colleagues. Sealed the game once pushed up, however, capitalizing on Barca's late desperation. Eder Militao, CB, 7/10, once again showed great awareness and read the game brilliantly to remain solid throughout. Never phased and always reliable. David Alaba, CB, 7/10, what a way to mark your El Clasico debut. Started a blistering counter-attack, before rounding it off with a stunning strike to put his side ahead in the first half. Furland Mendy, LB, 6/10, had one lapse of concentration, allowing Dest the freedom of the penalty area in the first half, but otherwise put in a resolute and disciplined showing. Casemiro, DM, 7/10, spread play nicely from deep and once more proved an immovable presence in front of his back four, making 7 interventions. Just always in the way. Luka Modric, CM, 7/10, the oldest player to ever start El Clasico in Real Madrid colours. Could have fooled everyone with a sharp and unforgiving performance, regaining possession 6 times and constantly showing his cuteness to build play from midfield. Toni Kroos, CM, 6/10, given very little time on the ball to really dictate the tempo, but did well to match Barcelona's tenacity in midfield, making 3 tackles to break up play. Rodrigo, RW, 7/10, showed electric pace throughout the first half and showed his composure by digging out a perfect pass to assist Alaba's opener. Karim Benzema, Saint, 6/10, some absurdly classy touches on the ball, although was largely restricted to brief flashes of brilliance. Key in build-up play, but uncharacteristically didn't make an impact in front of goal. Vinicius Jr., LW, 7/10, a breathtaking dribbler of the ball, capable of leaving you in disbelief. An absolute nightmare to defend against. Ran his position ragged and contributed a stunning ball to Rodrigo in the build-up to the first goal. Federico Valverde, RW, 6/10, worryingly hooked off before full-time as he struggled with his knee. Marco Asensio, LW, 7/10, crucial part to play in the second and conclusive Real Madrid goal. Dani Carvajal, RB, NA.